As Katie getting taken to Sky Temple, currently no wins there, whereas CE have a 100% win rate on this map, and they're looking to keep it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 5-0, that's clean. That's very, very solid by CE, whereas KT, not only have they not won a single map on Sky Temple, they have also not played it a whole lot, which might actually be another disadvantage they might have to face. And if you take CE's playstyle into account, which has traditionally been very aggressive, very melee assassin centered as well, then this map fits right in. We can see the likes of Illidan, we could see a Greymane, we could even see the likes of a Karazim here. I think, especially with a melee comp, Karazim gets so much more value because of the increased AoE healing from the Breath of Heaven. So there's many things that cater towards the strengths of CE here, I think, on Sky Temple.
Definitely agree. Would definitely agree indeed. They have all of their strengths in their pocket. Question is, what can KT do about it? Last time these two played against each other, KT attempted to play all the aggression and went for a Bloodlust comp, which very nearly took the game on Cursed Hollow, but CE were able to overcome. Will they go for something similar, or are they going to mix it up a bit? They're starting off with Dahaka, not anti-Bloodlust comp or anti-shenaniganry in general, but it's at least a standard opening for a CE. Very standard.
That's already such a good point you brought up there, Tetra. I totally forgot about this crazy aggression comp by KT, which almost won them the game. And I think CE, they will still remember that very specific game, and I could really see that first pick Arthas as a precaution measure already. So they're like, okay, so if you want to go for that particular style again with Tassadar, Rhaegar, Abathur, Illidan, we already have a solid counter banked in. So really good that you brought the game up.
Yeah, I don't think it's too likely we will see it again. For now, though, let's see what KT could pick to fill out. They already have their global hero. They have their solo laner. So they need basically everything else. Support would be nice, picking up maybe the Uther or the Rhaegar, whatever they think is going to be a bit scarier to play against, when we already have the Greymane and the Arthas picked up for CE, because they can ban out the other Tychus, and they pick up Rhaegar, so they can now ban out Uther if they want.
Yeah, absolutely. They can definitely ban another support. I mean, Oriel is already gone. If you want to deny the holy trinity of top 3 supports right now in China, at least, which would be Oriel, Uther, Rhaegar, then you could definitely apply a lot of pressure if the enemy team did not have a Lufel in their ranks. And he will gladly pick the likes of Brightwing and Karazim and still deliver hard.
Indeed. I'm apparently still a little bit ahead of the stream. I have lagged up to 11.
Let me double check.
Hooray. I'm just not touching it before the game starts at this time, because it's so inconsistent.
I'm sitting at 13, wherever those came from.
Yeah, we'll let it go. We'll let it go, and we'll deal with it once the game actually starts. Because at this point, so Nubrak banned out by CE. I say from the future, and KT responding with what we predicted earlier, removing that Uther.
All right. Anubrak no longer in the mix. I kind of do like it. Has Anubrak actually made it through? I think only once or twice today, right? Because
yes, today. Once today in the first... No, twice today in the first 2 series, both by RPG, and I disagreed with it both... No, by RPG, and I disagreed with it both times.
Wang definitely not the most reliable of Beatles.
Give us your Muradin, Wang.
Yeah.
It's so good. It would have been so much better in that game number 2 especially.
Oh, I love the salt in your voice after that loss against Ruka Gaming. Because you gotta... For those of you guys who don't really know us that well, you know, and who might have watched for the first time today, Tetra has a very special relationship with RPGs. So for his favorite baby boy team to suffer the only loss against RPGs so far... you know, that's
humiliating.
It's a little bit humiliating at the least, yeah.
And as being a Brit, the best thing I can do is the thing that I am best at is complaining and being cynical, and telling people that they did something wrong in hindsight. So those are the things that British people are best at.
Right, as predicted,
queuing, but we can't exactly queue here.
Yeah, there we go. As predicted, Brightwing once again locked in for a Lufel. In fact, I think the only support in the entire league that continues to play her and continues to perform well with her. I think he actually brought up single-handedly brought up her winning rate from the lower 20s to the 40s. I love it.
Oh yes, he's sneaking his way up, dragging Brightwing into the
man
positive
on his
win
mission.
rates, kicking and screaming. He will get there eventually, but we do have it with the Zeratul here. Now this is one of the scarier combos ever since these two heroes really became utilized together at all, where Zeratul can just gank, Brightwing teleports in onto the invisible Zeratul. The only warning you get is an audio one if Zeratul is visible, and then you get ganked from what was a 1 versus 1 into a 3 versus 1. It's quite scary.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so glad to see Zeratul back in the mix as well. Used by a team aside from RPG, because they have been traditionally the one team that heavily utilizes him. So let's see what CE can bring to the table with the Zeratul. I don't even know who's going to play it. It could be Zuyu, could be KTY, could be Paradise.
Don't know. We'll see. I'd say...
Yeah, Zuyu's going to be the Chromie here for sure. And KTY, I think, is probably going to be the Grey main. So Paradise, who's normally their melee assassin / bruiser player. That would make sense.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, but the fact that we have to question this at all just shows the variation of this team, which is very nice.
Man, do you remember Zuyu's Chromie from last week against Wukong Gaming? Who did he lane against, and who did he actually... it was Dahaka, I think, right?
It was Dahaka, and he 1v1 Dahaka on a consistent basis.
Wow.
It was so funny. That was the game that I gave up on that day, and was like, okay, I'm just having fun. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And it was. I was correct. It was great. So I am refreshing due to the fact that we will be heading into the game.
Gotcha.
I am 7 seconds from broadcaster.
I am right there at 8 seconds, so I guess that's acceptable.
Begins. We've restarted the game. Yeah, something clearly went wrong.
Wow.
I guess lots of people DC'd or something.
Dude, that's crazy. I can't recall the last time I saw a game restart. So I guess the game wasn't really decided yet because both teams were on equal talents. Both teams were roughly even on buildings. So I think it's acceptable. It's a little bit sad for KT though, because they looked really, really strong. Let me turn on the sound for you guys again. Let's just quickly double check the latency as well.
10.
10, same for me. Awesome.
Nice. Ty Dillinger would be proud. As Neptune, nice burrow, but he's still getting slowed by Arthur. CE looking to start off a bit better than they were before the restart, but they're not able to pick up the kill.
Keep in mind that all players are probably going to be forced to go for the same talents again. I have actually no idea how the rules are for this, but I would assume that people, at least to the point where the last game stopped at, are not allowed to go for different talents now, right? Or are they? Because it's a new game?
No idea. Really have no idea. I'm not entirely sure
Both
what the
could be
rules
applicable,
are
I
there.
guess.
Someone in the audience suggesting that it would be KT, considering they were winning the early game, should have 100% all switched to Sad Clouds due to the restart.
Yeah, by the way, I take back what I said, because KTY on the Grey Mid is now going for a cocktail build instead of the Worgen build.
So I guess they are just allowed to adjust.
Yeah,
We do not know why it started over, guys. We can't understand the Chinese casters, and we can't hear them anyway. So we have zero idea. I'll keep an eye on the group chat that we have set up with the production to see if we are informed there at some point. For now, though, CE starting off with 1,000,000% an infinite amount less deaths than they did the last time.
Alright, Paradise might use this time, now that he's warmed up on the Zeratul, to maybe show us a better performance, because he seemed to be the biggest liability in the previous game. I don't want to call it game 1, but let's see if he can step it up a little bit.
Yeah, in game 0, he was looking a little bit wonky. Let's see if he can adjust to it this time. So, apparently there were big issues with the network that disconnected everyone, and as such the game was non-resumable. It did require a full restart because no one was in it. The game just ended.
Yeah.
So out of all the players' control, it's unlucky for KT, but they have a chance to prove that it's not a fluke and to do it twice in a row.
Exactly. So you might also say that now they're still warmed up. They're basically in the rhythm, so it should be easier for them to pull off a similar maneuver now than compared to, let's say, 1 hour later or 2 hours later. You never know how long those breaks could have lasted. So anyway, we see the unstable polymorph here on the side of Lufo, going for the AoE explosion, by the way. So really interesting talent that I normally use on Panamura when you have like extended brawls over and over again.
Yeah, he picked the same one last time. It works out quite nicely. He's gone for the exact same build, him staying the same at least, but they are sieging in the bot lane quite aggressively right now, looking for that level 7 talent thanks to towers. Run the Lufu! He's out. Good job, Arthas with the zoning.
Alright, so far no kills have happened. We see the bigger they are on the side of Tychus, which is always a nice tell. Yesterday, in fact, I had a nice discussion with my viewers about Tychus not only being good against multiple warriors, but actually being even stronger against only one main tank, because then he can basically focus all of his damage output on one target and shred that one. Whereas if he plays against double warriors, the other warrior might actually pressure him so much that he can't even continue his damage.
Well, here's an argument against just all percentage damage, where people are like, oh, there's a Malthael. Why would I pick percentage damage against Malthael? Because that's what you're supposed to do, because Malthael will do percentage damage to one person, drop them low. Tychus do the same, Leoric as well. Anyone with percentage damage, they will drop that tank low, so the tank will have to retreat. What's now in your front line? If you have a second tank, you have a second tank. Yeah, they're going to take percentage damage too. By the time they rotate out, if your support's doing a good job, the first tank will be healthy again and can rotate back in. It's all about the rotations. If you have a single tank, they pull back, and now your backline's vulnerable. Your support is vulnerable, can't hit your tank because they have to deal with your backline being pressured now. 2 tanks is better against percentage damage. Malthael might be the only exception purely because all of his percentage is AoE.
Yeah. That's a very good point, and that's actually a comparison I made as well, because, you know, Malthael gets equal value in all the targets, whereas Tychus and Leoric can only get value against one target. So, just a little bit of a chat here that we had. In the meantime, CE engages on the battle, Zuyu unleashing a barrage of sand spells, none of them hitting too much though. The slowing sands being deployed as well. I think that's already a change as well. No longer is he going for Temper Loot, but slowing sands this time around.
Yeah, I guess they are just allowed to swap it round. We have seen now that slowing sands getting some damage and good kill onto Dahaka.
The power of bronze talons, ladies and gentlemen, even blows tanks like Dahaka out of their socks, and it's just easily such a beautiful talent. Also, another sand blast, beautifully done, seeing taking additional damage, and it is CE in full domination mode so far. Yeah,
and that feels bad for KT, but Fury, did you not see this? Turn your settings up or something, because he did apparently not see this. Sniped, and Paradise gets away. Butcher may even die here. No, they're not going to face it.
And I think already Zuyu is going to realize, hey, that slowing sands is actually really good. I should have probably picked it in game 0 as well. That's, of course, even more frustrating for KT. But let's see. Maybe they can stabilize. Maybe they can come back here as well. Something we do see almost every single game coming in from a Lufel on the Brightwing is that Emerald Wind. And it just provides so much zoning. It can even be used aggressively if you manage to get Brightwing behind the target, push it back. And also, one cannot forget the passive it comes with, the increased healing value from the Soothing Mist.
Tyrael attempting to teleport Zeratul into his own base there by Eldarin Smiting after Zeratul hit him with his W, but Zeratul able to blink in too quickly. The response for people saying that this is unfair to KT, it is an accident. There is no control, no one is at fault. It is unlucky, not unfair.
Exactly.
They are on different things. It sucks for them, but either way, we still get to see a game, and we still get to see a game without issues, as we do see CE in the full retreat. Isolation drops onto Brightwing, but the good zoning again, the win. Great zoning to protect this team.
Yeah, I think in Twitch lingo we can say it's not dance game, it's baby rage.
Yes, that will do. That will do. Remy continuing to snipe. Zeratul finding a rotating Butcher there, dropping a little bit of poke damage.
Alright, Zeratul escapes the threat. Paradise making it out alive. I gotta say though, KT, despite getting pressured early on, are putting up a decent show. Like, they're definitely fighting well. The isolation was almost enough to take out the Brightwing. In the nick of time was she able to escape out of harm's way, but it is very important to track the cooldowns now. No Army of the Dead for another 30 seconds. This might be a time window that KT can use, because when the tank doesn't have their main protective capabilities, it's definitely a good time to initiate.
Exactly. They want to try and get it while they are at their most vulnerable. CE attempting to not be vulnerable at all. Playing with that Arthur's very far forward and Chromie very mobile, not wanting to get called out of position at any point.
And unfortunately, I think KT is now making their first grave mistake. They're playing this very patiently. They're trying to sort of, you know, stall it out a little bit. But if you go for that passive, patient playstyle on Sky Temple for too long, not only will you... Oh my god, that could be a nice gank in the bottom. Oh, Dehaka actually made it out in time, I think.
Sneaky. Yeah, I was about to say, where'd he go? But he's top lane now. They've just come for a
nice
full
communication.
Rotation. Nice communication indeed. Dehaka is out. All for... They're rotating. I guess they're worried about a boss being taken, so that's fair. But they're not taking the top shots. They are just sending everyone down except for Tyrael, who's taking a lot of time.
But yeah, back to the point I was trying to make. Like, if you're falling behind on Sky Temple and you keep playing passively, oh my god, that is a huge 3-man Void Prism. Is it going to be enough to land the follow-up with the Chromie Burst? Just barely not enough to kill Tychus.
Yeah, Sank was not used there, and as such, Tychus very nearly died, but he survived, so I guess that's worth not burning the Sank. Tychus will be able to go back and grab a fountain. I nearly said grow back and gab a fountain, which... because my brain is smart. As Neptune takes a little bit more poke damage, CE continuing to hold control. A solid 2-level lead for them.
Yeah, indeed, and now we see 13 advantage. Actually allowing CE to walk a little bit more recklessly. They can definitely force the issue now. It's still a long time until KT pulls even in that regard. And unfortunately for them, they played a little bit too passively. Look at that. All 3 forts are still standing for CE. Not only were KT not able to get any of those temples, they also applied relatively low pressure in general. Now Arthas going in wind, lands it, but the time trap interfering. Is Tyrael going to make it out alive? Yes, he is.
He is indeed.
Oh my god,
damage coming in, forcing CE to retreat as the boss wails on him a bit. Tornado going to make it a little bit harder, and the zoning stun, I guess. That's quite nice. KT moving in, but their chase is delayed by that cheeky boss.
You could see the preemptive Icebound Fortitude pop by Wind because he expected a lick to go down by Dehaka. So he wanted to make this duration as short as humanly possible. So really, really nice reflexes. Of course, it also means that his Army of the Dead once again is on cooldown now because he kind of overreacted a little bit in my opinion. But better be safe than sorry here without any doubt. There's a fight going down. Paradise gets trapped but makes it out alive as the freeze show continues. We're very sorry, guys. We apologize.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We have had a reply from the Chinese production team. That's good. But only to tell us that they're having internet issues on their end, and there's nothing they can do about it either, but it's nice for them to finally talk to us. As Paradise finds Ethereal, finds some damage, and escapes.
Yeah, very passive game, and once again, a little bit of a problem for KT because they have waited so long that CE had all the time in the world to just peacefully soak 16, and they're going to once again find themselves in a position where they just have to wait even longer. And guess what? If you wait too long on Sky Temple, those temples are going to mercilessly shred through your structures. Oh, let's see what's going to happen here.
Poking down that wall, the wall exploding the arcane orb there, and as such the damage does hit Zuyu. That's very nice. As Paradise keeps to poke onto Butcher right now. Both teams waiting for an objective. Yeah, super dangerous, super risky, but that extra movement speed from his W able to get him out.
Okay, I think that was a misclick, Mr. Butcher.
Yeah,
and they punish it immediately.
With now no follow-up. Tychus should die here. Oh no, he drops his Neo Steel plating, tanking through. Ancestral keeps him alive. Good use of the Neo Steel plating by Tychus, and they're trying to turn it round. As Seeing tanking through, stays alive.
Chromie!
How are they all alive? Oh, he went over the wall.
That Dragon Spread would have landed. It would have hit, but the reaction on the teleport too smooth, too quick, and too good. KT once again saves everyone, and one misclick by Butcher almost spilled disaster for them because he immediately capitalized on the fact that they no longer had their prime defensive tool, and it almost worked for them. It almost worked. So in the end, they traded a Sank for a VP. Whew.
Yeah, wow. I'm amazed they all survived there. That was an incredible set of moves by KT to dodge near certain death. As we do now see KT attempting to find themselves a delicious... Oh, no, he missed it. Oh, no, there is the damage. Missiles, and Lufel is dropped. Nicely done. Too early on the ice block. Tried to predict it. Instead,
I think he misplayed it, Lufel. He should have used the Emerald Ring first while Dehaka was not in his vicinity, and then he could have still used the ice block just in case Li Ming was to dodge it. A little bit of a misplay there by Lufel. We rarely get to see those these mistakes by him because he's such a mechanically tip-top player, but you know, it happens to the best of us. Confirmed.
Indeed.
Ooh, Neptune.
Oh, he's getting danced around here. Look at Paradise. Just so mobile, so aggressive. Looks for more VP. That's not a good place to be. Chromie damage and deleted. The sack's too late. Everyone is dead. Chromie does die to the terminal explosion, but that's still a 5-for-1 if you exclude the Brightwing dying earlier, who can now teleport back to her team, as CE are going to attempt a core here with 15 seconds left on Dehaka.
I think it should be a relatively safe core call. We have the Emerald Wind that can be used right at the gate when the enemy team is going to respawn, knocks them back into the Hall of Storm, and look at the core. It's just falling so rapidly. Zeratul and Greymane, they're hammering on the core. It's GG, and CE takes game number 1. A little bit of an unlucky turn of events here for KT. They looked so good in the previous game, but hey, that's destiny, that's fate sometimes. GG CE, well played.
Absolutely, and you can absolutely not blame CE for doing this.
Exactly.
They were given an opportunity, and they were given an opportunity via something that was out of their control. They took it. It was a referee's decision, not theirs. You can't blame CE for that. That was not their fault. They just played better with the remake. It's bad luck, but there is no one for you guys to be angry at. Get angry at the internet in general.
Yeah. So it would have actually been like, let's say if CE had actually played poorly on purpose to give KT another chance to come back, that would have actually not been good sportsmanship. Good sportsmanship is when you always try your best and you make the best out of every situation. So I'm pretty sure KT is not really that mad. Sure, they might feel a little bit frustrated, but I think they would have done the exact same thing. So kudos to both teams for showing good sportsmanship, trying their hardest, trying their best. And we also got to give props to CE for adjusting and learning from the mistakes, because KT could have probably done the same thing. In the end, it was CE that adjusted quicker, that had a better analysis, it seems, and thus rightfully earned victory here.
Exactly. So, bad luck to KT, but let's see if they can adjust in the second game. We will find out as we are preparing for that coming soon.
Exactly, and think back to the game or the first encounter of those two teams a couple of weeks ago when KT was almost able to take down CE with that glorious aggressive Illidan comp. Do you remember which battleground it was played on? I think it was Cursed Hollow.
Comp again, sorry?
That last game when they faced each other for the first time with that crazy Illidan comp, was it on Cursed Hollow?
Ooh,
I think it was.
Let me
check. It could have been Warhead Junction or Cursed Hollow. Definitely one of those bigger battlegrounds.
Which two teams? CE versus...
KT.
Versus KT. CE KT from last rotation was over here. Sorry about this, everyone. Well, I attempted in fact. There we go. CE KT. Their second, they had Cursed Hollow, yes, and there was an Illidan comp. That was the Bloodlust Illidan comp from KT.